Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and today we've got another brand new Mattel Jurassic World set to take a look at, and this time we've got a Legacy Collection set, and as you can see in big letters we have Dr. Ellie Sattler, but this is the Risky Rescue Pack, and we can obviously see that we've got ourselves a really cool Jeep. We've also got a Velociraptor and an Ellie figure. The Jeep this time, though, actually sports the second stripe, for one thing, but also is kind of mud-splattered to give it the look that it had in Jurassic Park, kind of when Ellie was, going on a risky rescue, trying to, help Ian, Alan, and the kids, and I guess, to her knowledge at that point, Gennaro, but again, to kind of get them out of Jurassic Park and to safety. But we also have a Velociraptor included in this set, which is kind of typical Mattel. I feel like I really honestly don't know what they could have put in this set to make it a little bit better as far as a dinosaur goes, so I feel like a Velociraptor was probably like the only real option. We've had so many Tyrannosaurs, they're almost equivalent to raptors at this point, but I think the overall scene as far as the Jeep and stuff goes, and Ellie, sort of recreates the scene of her trying to help, the kids and Ian and Alan and everybody from the T-Rex, but we have, the backdrop there that obviously shows the area where Ellie is attacked and terrorized by Velociraptor, so it sort of works its way out into almost creating two different scenes in one set. The fact that we have a just repainted raptor, though, is a little bit of a letdown. I would really love to see them create a new Velociraptor that's actually more screen accurate to what the raptors look like, because we just seem to continuously get the same mold as far as the raptor goes, and even the Hammond Collection version wasn't screen accurate either, so fingers crossed eventually Mattel will give us a much more screen-accurate sculpt on the Raptor. But again, the entire set does look pretty cool, and I'm actually quite excited to have this Jeep with the mud, on it, just giving it a really cool, different appearance from the older one, and also giving us some more, display options for the Jeep. As far as the back of the packaging goes, though, you can see again, we have a shot here of the Velociraptor, Ellie the Jeep, and showing us basically that the compartment there in the back opens up. So let's pop all of this out of the box and check it out. So here is our Jeep. We'll actually position it the opposite way because we had already seen it in that direction, and we'll also kind of reposition the camera a little bit. We've also got our Ellie Sattler right here, and our Velociraptor here to complete the entire scene, and it's now not going to stand apparently. Gotta reposition the legs. Oh boy, here we go. This one's gonna give me some trouble standing apparently. Yep, absolutely is. So straight out of the package, this Raptor doesn't want to stand, not at all. Wow, that's potentially the worst it's ever been for a Mattel Raptor. So we're just gonna lean the tail there on the Jeep, but this is I don't even know how many times now that we've had an actual Jurassic Park Velociraptor painted up to look like the JP Raptor, which is pretty cool to have actually quite a few, and they always alter them slightly to make them a little bit different, but still kind of looking like the Jurassic Park Raptor, which is pretty cool. So honestly, everything here looks really, really neat. Let's go ahead, jump straight to a closer look at all of it, and then we'll check it out from there. So as far as our Ellie goes, you can see that it looks like it's pretty much the same figure that we had prior as far as Ellie Sattler goes. I don't notice anything that they've really done different between the older Ellie and the current Ellie here that we have. You can see that we have the nice blonde hair, pretty much exactly as it looks in the film. The likeness of her is pretty good, and you can also see that the eyes are painted on there pretty nicely. The lips have some slight paint application to them. Of course, we have the classic Ellie Sattler look to the outfit here on the underneath of the jacket, but the jacket is what she was wearing when she actually went out to try to save Alan, Ian, and the kids and Gennaro from the Tyrannosaur wreaking havoc. I'm not sure if something's going on with this arm. It's beyond stuck in this position where it's hanging out, it doesn't want to go down, and I don't know why. Yeah, for some reason, the arm's just absolutely not going down. I don't know, I'll have to look at that a little bit more later, but for right now, it almost looks like she should be hitchhiking. She should have that thumb up or something. But you can again see that we do have the yellow jacket applied to her this time around, which is nice to have this version. It's a nice touch for sure, and definitely, gives you that nostalgic feeling of Ellie going out to perform her risky rescue, which is the name of the set. And you again have the boots, you've got the socks, everything looks really good as far as the figure. We do have articulation. Again, the arms going up and down, but we normally have pretty smooth articulation out away from the body. We're not really getting that on this one. We have the swiveled arm, but obviously this arm's like stuck. We also have articulation in the elbow. You have articulation in the neck, as well as the midsection, the hip. We can still do our splits if we choose to, and the knee. So not quite as much as you see on the Hammond Collection versions, but still a decent bit. Then our Jeep is absolutely awesome looking. First of all, I love the Jeep. The Jeep is absolutely my favorite part of the set because we now have both stripes on the Jeep, which is a huge plus compared to the previously released Jeep that was missing one of the stripes. You can also see we've got the classic Jurassic Park logo plastered right here on the side. And again, this is Jeep number 10. You can see that again up here on the top. All of the paint looks really good on the model. The sculpt, of course, is also phenomenal. The mud splatter effect looks good, honestly. Like, it obviously doesn't look like real mud. It's a toy, so I couldn't expect it to look like real mud, but it probably looks as close to, you know, being muddy as it possibly could in toy form. Like, the splatter of the mud looks really good on the side of the Jeep, and obviously we have it here on the wheels and everything throughout the entire vehicle. And you can see here on the front we've got the headlights. We've also got the Jurassic Park, again, vehicle number 10 down here on the front. And then if we move over here to the side, you can yet again see that mud splatter effect running through the course of the vehicle, which again is exactly the way it would look when Ellie went to, again, help everybody, because it was obviously raining. Everything was very muddy. So this is perfect as far as that, you know, recreating that classic scene from Jurassic Park. You can also see the seats here on the inside are very nicely done. You've got a seat here in the back, which is obviously where Ian would be sitting, and you can see the steering wheel. We did have to apply the mirrors ourselves. They actually come separate, and then you just pop them in. But everything looks good, honestly, in every area of the figure. And we also have the ability to open this. I wonder if they both open. It definitely looks like it. Yep, so they both open. So you can store some stuff in there, I guess, if you really want to. And then here on the back, you again have the alternate wheel, as well as, again, the JP logo down here, and number 10 yet again. So the vehicle is awesome. This is absolutely, in my opinion, the best Jeep that Mattel has released yet. And then our Velociraptor, of course, is just a straight-up repaint. There's nothing new with this one as far as the sculpt goes that I'm noticing. This is obviously the longer-legged version, where the one has more of a crouched look. The later version, which is the one we have here, has more of an outstretched look to the legs. But the paint is basically just like a greenish-brown tone, sort of, for the majority of the body. And then you have this darker brown tone up here on the top. You can see it starts here in the face, kind of spots and splatters around a little bit up into the palate toward the nostrils. You have a nicely painted eye with a yellowish tone. Probably should have been more of closer to like a greenish tone. But you can see as you move along, again, that tone of color starts there in the face. As far as that darker tone, it kind of runs up and over the head here. Not so much here, but you can see actually some speckles and stuff. And you can see it runs down the course of the raptor, but cuts off before the tail really starts to pick up. You can see it leads out into the tail a little bit, but we do still have a speckling throughout the tail. You can definitely see that is pretty, you know, frequent throughout the entire figure. Definitely a good abundance of that speckling. No painted nails, of course. You can see the speckling down there on the nails. The nails sort of appear to have a little bit of a gloss coat to them, which is a plus at least. But we also have this light tone here for the lower jaw that runs down into the throat, but cuts off before we even reach the chest in typical Mattel fashion as well. Wow, that articulated jaw is super, super stiff. You can see the teeth are painted with kind of an off-white, and they look okay. You know, pretty much how they usually look. You can also see a nice pinkish tone there with a nice gloss coat for the tongue and the inside of the mouth. See if the eyes place nicely over here. Yeah, also looks good over here. So no real sloppiness or anything to the paint, of course. As always, we could have used a little more paint application, or maybe even a resculpt to make it look a little more screen accurate, since it's a legacy set and we obviously can see who we are trying to recreate, which is the Jurassic Park Velociraptor. The articulation of the figure, again, is the jaw. You also have arm articulation. Honestly, every area of this raptor. Actually, that one's really smooth. This one's really stiff. The leg is also quite stiff, but we can move it. None of the joints of the legs move out away from the body, only forward and back. That one's kind of stiff as well. And then you have a swivel tail. No, you don't. Or boy, if you do, it's stuck. So I don't think we actually have a swivel tail on this one, which is very, very strange. Still, it's a pretty cool repaint of a raptor, and of course I'm always going to love any attempt to make a Jurassic Park Velociraptor, but it is just a straight-up repaint, and pretty much everything in this set is almost, sort of, in a way, something that has been released prior. We've had Ellies, we've had a Jeep, we've had Velociraptors by the dozen, so it's not anything amazing or innovative beyond belief, but it is still a pretty cool nostalgic set from Mattel. I don't think we really need to do size comparisons or anything like that. We don't need to measure them. We know how big the humans are, we know how big the Velociraptors are, and again, we also have the Jeep prior, so we already know how big the Jeep is. It doesn't appear to be anything too far off from what the older one was like as far as the Jeep goes, but I will, give us a nice little chance to look at how smooth it operates. You can see it moves. If my camera would stay focused, it moves very, very nicely, very smoothly. So that is a huge plus as far as the operation of the Jeep. I just can't get over Ellie continuously having her arm out like that. I'm definitely going to have to try to figure that out, but you can see it is very, very smooth as far as the operation of the Jeep as well. So this brand new Mattel Jurassic World Legacy Collection Risky Rescue set is pretty fun, but it's not, incredibly exciting. Like, it's not as super exciting as the recent set, that the Lost World set where we had the Stegosaurus and Sarah Harding. Like, that set was so much nicer than this, but that said, it is still a really cool set, honestly, overall. It's just so neat to see the classic Jurassic Park Jeep with mud splattered all over it, and of course that classic Ellie Sattler with the jacket on. It just screams nostalgia. It just, really calls out to me. Even if it's not anything insanely innovative or brand new and super creative, it still, again, is classic Jurassic Park, which I really do love. And of course, Ellie looks really good overall. She definitely has the likeness of Laura Dern, as the Mattel figures usually do. She also has a nice, very highly detailed sculpt and some pretty nice and really quite precise paintwork, as well as some fun articulation. I just wish her arm worked a little better. Something, again, I'm going to have to work on after the review is over. But she is quite the nice figure. The Velociraptor is probably the weakest part of this entire set because for some reason it doesn't want to stand. It keeps falling over, and on top of that, we've had quite a few Jurassic Park Velociraptors before, so releasing this set with a new Velociraptor based on the Jurassic Park version is just another slight repaint of a previously released Raptor, and it would have been cool if they had actually surprised us with a new head sculpt that was much more screen accurate. I really would have given Mattel a huge thumbs up for that, but unfortunately it is just a straight up repaint of a previously released Velociraptor that does happen to look similar to a Jurassic Park Velociraptor, but again, suffers from your classic Mattel issues like a lack of painted nails, lack of paint running out onto the tail, pretty much all the stuff that we consistently complain about when it comes to the Mattel dinosaurs. But the Jeep, again, is, in my opinion, the best part of this set. It looks great here, absolutely looks awesome with the second stripe on it, and the mud splatter effect is great as well. It operates very, very nicely, very smoothly, and in general is just a beautiful piece to add to any Jurassic Park collection, because Mattel really did knock the Jeep straight out of the park, in my opinion. So as a whole, it's definitely not the greatest set ever, but it is still pretty fun. If you are interested in this, I believe the actual official release date is January 13th, so it's right around the corner. So you can still place a pre-order for this, or at least last time I checked, on Target. So I will include the link in the description to where you can do that on Target.com. And again, this is showing up in stores, which is where I found mine, so you can also head to your local Target and pick it up there as well. One way or another, if you're a fan of Jurassic Park, it's definitely a set worth picking up, so make sure you do that, and like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.